Hi, I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation and welcome to the Hive. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at this Kogan Smarter Home Smart Wi-Fi pet feeder with a camera. We've been using it for about 2 weeks, so we're not going to be doing an unboxing, but we will be taking a look at the good, the bad, and the ugly about the unit. So while I roll the intro, why don't you take a moment to subscribe? And if you hit the bell icon, you'll also get notified when I release new videos, and that's generally every week. While you're at it, if you like what I do here and you want to help to support the channel, there are some affiliate links in the video description to a bunch of the home automation gadgets that I've reviewed in previous episodes. And there's other ways to support the channel as well, like signing up for NordVPN using my affiliate link, or supporting the channel directly through my Buy Me a Coffee link. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. So if you're a cat owner, you'll know the problem that inspired this purchase. At around 5 o'clock every morning, our cat Whiskey decides that it's time for breakfast. Now, we've tried explaining to Whiskey that it's Sunday morning and we've been looking forward to sleeping in all week. Unfortunately, reasoning with a hungry cat doesn't seem to work. Also, being able to schedule feedings or trigger them remotely means that the cat's not going to go hungry if we have a late night out or if we decide to stay out overnight. As I said in the intro, we've been using this for about 2 weeks now, and overall, we're pretty happy with it. We picked this one up for $169.99 from Kogan.com, and I see here on the website that as of the time of recording, it's $159.99. Now, being a Kogan branded device, it is a 2-year commodity unit that's been rebranded. It's worth mentioning that there's some cool features about it, but there's also a couple of cons, and we'll talk about each of those as we get to them and summarize at the end. So looking around the unit and starting at the back on the bottom of the unit, we see that we have a micro USB port here to power the unit. There is a USB-A to micro USB cable included in the box, but no power adapter. Because I've moved all my Raspberry Pis over to power over Ethernet, I dug out this old official Raspberry Pi micro USB power adapter, but you could just make use of an old phone charger wall wart. Back over to the unit now, looking still at the back, and one of the coolest features of this pet feeder is this compartment right here, and if you reach in, you'll see we've got a USB type A cable, and what we can do with this compartment is install a power bank into it as a battery backup in case there is a blackout. That means the cat isn't going to go hungry during a blackout if you're away. That said, from what I can tell so far, the feeder isn't able to charge the power bank, which is a little bit frustrating. All in all, our power here is pretty reliable, and to be honest, if the power is out, we can just get out a regular cat bowl. But it would be good if we were going away for a long weekend as a backup to cover any outages. On the front, we will see that there is a button at the top to release the latch for the hopper. There is a button to commence feeding. There's the camera, and there's a couple of LEDs here. There's a Wi-Fi status LED and a food low indicator here. And speaking of the latch for the hopper, this is another positive here. It means that greedy pets will actually have a hard time breaking into the food hopper to get to the mother load, so you shouldn't have to worry too much about that. Speaking of the hopper, I'll pull that out and I'll move the main unit to the side. The hopper itself is 3.7 liters, which is pretty decent, and it has these little paddles at the bottom where you can see that's how it moves the food into the bowl. And you might note on the sides here, there's these little windows, and that's how it tells when the food level is low. There's a beam. I'll grab the unit itself. Might be able to look down the side here, and you might see there's a little light emitting diode, an LED here, and on the other side there's a receiver. I believe they might be infrared. I'm not 100% sure, and those will create a beam. And when the food gets below that level, the red light on the front of the unit will light up and flash. While we're looking down the throat of this thing, there's not really a whole lot to it. You might be able to make out some ribbon cables and those kinds of things. I think the main control board might be underneath here. So if we ever get around to hacking that, we will definitely take a look there. I'll put it back together like so, and close the lid. So back on the front, here is the bowl unit in the grey plastic, and it sits under this front edge here, and because of the way it's designed, it's got these little legs that kind of lock it into place, and that's good because it does mean that if your pet is an enthusiastic eater, the bowl is not going to skate around on a tile floor. Looking at the shape and the position of the bowl, I can see a couple of other cons. Now, while it is a relatively flat-bottomed bowl, it does have some sharp turns around the edges, and at least with cats, this can lead to what's called whisker fatigue. Whisker fatigue is the common problem that you might have seen if you have a cat, where the cat will eat the food that's in the center of the bowl, and they'll leave food around the edges. And they'll cry for more food even though the food is still around the edges of the bowl. And this is pretty common because their whiskers are really sensitive, and it can be quite overwhelming for their whiskers to rub against the sides of their food bowl while they eat. The other thing is that the bowl sits right on ground level with the feeder, and it's not raised up slightly for some better ergonomics and a better feeding position. Something I'm considering to resolve this problem is raising the feeder a couple of inches off the ground, probably about 6 inches off the ground, and then 3D printing a funnel or a chute to then funnel the food into Whiskey's old feeding bowls, which are raised a couple of inches off the ground, and they are also hemispherical bowls, and these stainless steel hemispherical bowls allow the food to actually fall into the center of the bowl, and that can help alleviate whisker fatigue. The better option is to have a completely flat dish with no sides. That massive 3.7 litre hopper that's inside the unit should hold pretty happily a 2 kilo bag of food. So you could theoretically reasonably rely on this feeder for a week or even more of unattended feeding, depending on A, how hungry your cat is, or B, how many cats you have. So you'd only need to then have your friend or family member come over to scoop litter and top up water. Although there might be some automated methods to deal with those things too, that I may or may not explore in the future. They can get pretty expensive. Now, obviously, I don't recommend leaving your furry friend alone for extended periods of time. If you're heading away on holiday, you absolutely should arrange for someone to look after your pets so that they don't get too lonely and destroy everything that you own. Something I did like about this feeder is that when you activate feeding, it operates on a concept of portions, and you could see that with this paddle wheel here. Those are the portions. Each portion is supposed to be 10 grams of food, and we measured it when we first got it, and it's surprisingly accurate, so it does make it easy to track how much food your pet is eating throughout the day to help them maintain a healthy weight and reduce overfeeding. It does have a built-in speaker, and it can beep at feeding times, but you can disable that in the app. And it also allows for two-way communication, so you can call your dog or cat over to the pet feeder and have a video chat with them if you're so inclined. That said, the speaker is terrible quality and it sounds distorted even when playing just the native chimes. The other thing I've noticed is that the camera faces only forward and it's not a fisheye lens, so you can't actually see the food bowl underneath the unit. It might have been a better design to either use a fisheye lens or even angle the camera down further to be able to see how much food is in the bowl. So I've just plugged the unit in and I've opened up the 2-Year Smart app. We do see that we've got the Kogan Smart Wi-Fi pet feeder here. Pairing it should be fairly straightforward. I won't go through that process. It would just be hit the plus, add device, and down the left-hand side, you might find, I think it might be under small home appliances, and you should be able to find Wi-Fi pet feeder, and the instructions should be pretty straightforward from there. Back into the main screen of the 2-Year Smart app, you'll see that we've got this button here that says feed the cat. That's a scene that we've created and there's a reason for that, which we'll get to when we take a look at Home Assistant. I'll head over to the Kogan Smart Wi-Fi pet feeder here. So the cat's heard me talking about her, so she has come over to say hello. And we're opening up the app now, so hopefully you will see the details here. Okay, great. So we've got the app open here. It's pretty basic, so you can set up a feeding plan in here and you can say, we'll add a feeding plan and say at 5 a.m. we'll give 2 portions, and then at 12 we'll give 1 portion, etc., etc. So we can set up a feeding plan to feed the cat a number of times a day. Okay, I'm going to tap the edit button in the top right hand corner and then highlight these 2 feeding plans. I'm just going to tap delete. There's no food there, Whiskey. We'll back out of... Please don't show my viewers your bum. So we'll back out. I'm not going to use feeding plans. I don't really like the feeding plans. We do have the edit button in the top right hand corner and it's a bit difficult to see in dark mode, but we've got some functions in here such as the device name, sharing the device information, using Echo, basic function settings, FAQ and feedback, and device update. We have set up to use the Echo. There's no food in there, Whiskey. And the basic function settings is some information about the camera. So we can turn the infrared night vision, the time watermark, and flip the screen and do some status indicators, etc. I'm going to back all the way out here. And what we can do, if I click on the food bowl in the top right hand corner, we can change some feed settings here. So we can have the manual button and we can set the portions. So if I press the button, it's going to try and feed 3 portions. And we've also got the feed beep there. So if I turn the feed beep on and press the button as well, that beeped, but we also got an alert on our phone that it's run out of food. So it's missed the feeding and it sounded an alarm there, and she is freaking out because of the noise. But as you can see, the feeding there works. So once you've done that, you've then got this express feeding button here on the main page of the app. So we can tap express feeding and that's going to do the 3 portion feed. I'm just going to go grab some food to put in the hopper. Okay, so I've just got this jug full of food. I'm just going to pour in the top of the hopper. And we'll close the hopper up. So now that there's food in the hopper, it's telling us that the bucket is empty. So what we can do is click over to video. we'll take a quick look at the video stream, and you can see the mess of cables that it takes to produce these videos. But we've got the video stream. It's a little bit laggy. That's okay. It's through the cloud. We can take a photo, we can record, we can see the photos, and we can also press the feed button from the video feed. And if I click this button in the bottom left corner of the video feed, that's the speaker, we might get some feedback here. Yeah, I can't hear the sound coming through, but that's okay. We can press this talk button. Hello. Does seem to be struggling a little bit today. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm going to press the feed button. And 3 portions of food have come out. And the cat is probably going to be here any second. And we just got an alert that the feeding was successful and that the food is running low. So we see that we got 3 portions successful in there. So what we needed to do in order to use this pet feeder with the Amazon Echoes and also with Home Assistant is create a scene. So you'll see that we have this scene, feed the cat. You can click the plus button in the top right corner and then click create scene. And then you can go launch tap to run. And if tap to run, then we will go run the device, and we're going to choose the smart pet feeder, and we'll go feed, and you can select the number of portions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many portions you want to feed. So if we go 3, and then we can go next, and we will save that, and we'll call that, it's just called Kogan Smart Wi-Fi Pet Feeder. I can click that and it's feeding the cat again. Just so that she doesn't eat herself to death, I'm just going to pop this back in the top and close the lid again, and we can tap OK. So we've now got a scene that will feed the cat. I'm going to go to scenes here, and we should be able to see here on the tap to run side, we've got feed the cat and Kogan Smart Wi-Fi Pet Feeder. I'm going to edit that. I'm going to edit the name. We'll just call that test feed the cat, and we'll tap OK. And then we will save that. So if we refresh this page, we now have test feed the cat and feed the cat. So we can now do things like say, Alexa, feed the cat.
Okay.
And because we have an Amazon Echo in our bedroom, that works quite well at 5 o'clock in the morning when the cat is hungry. So now let's head over to Home Assistant and see how it works there. If we go to the settings menu in the bottom left hand corner, and we will go to devices and services, and I'm going to look for my Tuya cloud integration, which is right here. This is my production instance. So in the bottom right hand corner of the Tuya cloud integration, I'll click the 3-dot stack and click reload. And at the moment we've got 26 devices and 80 entities. It may not change here. So now we have apparently 25 devices and 81 entities. So I'll click on 81 entities, and if we scroll through here, what I'm looking for is test feed the cat. So that is the scene that we created in the Tuya Smart app. And if we scroll back up to the Fs, we will see we've got the feed the cat scene that was already there. So if we go to test feed the cat, we can look at the controls for test feed the cat, and I can tap this activate button, and we feed 3 portions to the cat. So with that done, what I did in our production instance is down at the very bottom of our Home Assistant dashboard, I have a giant button card here that just says feed the cat. So if we open Home Assistant on our iPhone here, and we should get our main dashboard. On our overview dashboard here, I can scroll all the way to the very bottom of the dashboard, and we've got the feed the cat button. Now, when we first got this smart pet feeder paired into Tuya Smart, I did run my local Tuya key extractor script over the unit, and unfortunately the only data that appears to be exposed via the API are some of the video camera settings, like the on-screen display, night vision, and flipping the image. There's also a switch for the LED indicator light, so unfortunately this pet feeder is going to rely on the cloud, and we don't have a convenient way to remove that cloud requirement. That said, I do suspect that the feeding schedules and feeding programs will run regardless of any cloud connection, so that may be a way forward, but that then means that this becomes a rather expensive scheduled pet feeder. Alternatively, I may be able to open it up and get at the control board to make some modifications, but we won't be doing that in this video. So that is the Kogan Smarter Home Wi-Fi Pet Feeder. Looking at the pros, we have scheduled feeding, voice control feeding, we have push button feeding, and the portion measuring so that you can monitor how much you are feeding your precious pet. There's also the power bank backup function and the huge food hopper. If you only have one cat like us, then that is going to be more than enough food. We've only just needed to start thinking about filling this up after using it for 2 weeks. For the con side, it doesn't come with a power brick, it only comes with the micro USB cable. That said, I think most people at this point in time have plenty of micro USB cables lying around from old phones. Another con is that if you are using that power bank function, it doesn't charge that power bank, so you would need to make sure that you have charged up your power bank and put that in before you go away, and I think that's kind of the idea behind this unit. As I said as well, the bowl shape and the position is not very ergonomic for cats. I think small dogs probably won't have too much of a problem with that if you've got a small indoor dog. The Tuya Cloud Home Assistant integration is incomplete. You can't actually really do much with it, and you can't even view the video feed using the Tuya Cloud integration. And of course, lastly, local Tuya doesn't seem to be able to access the feeding pins on the control board for this. Let me know your thoughts about the Kogan Smarter Home Wi-Fi Pet Feeder with video camera in the comments section down below. That is all we have for this video, and I do hope that it helped you in your smart home automation journey and your pet ownership journey as well. Be sure to comment down below with a home automation idea that you'd like to see me cover in a future video. Don't forget to follow HiveMind Automation on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you like this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button down below to give it a like. If you're not already subscribed, please consider changing that now. And while you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll also get a notification when I release new videos, and that's normally every week. If you're currently in the market for a VPN provider, there's also an affiliate link for NordVPN in the video description. I chose to partner with NordVPN because they have the best infrastructure of any of the VPN providers. They have a strict no logs policy, and they have servers all over the planet. On top of that, they've got apps for just about every platform around, including Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, and Android. So no matter what platform you're using, you can protect your sensitive personal information while you browse the web, and that's even on unsecured Wi-Fi. So get a VPN today and use my link below to sign up for NordVPN. Lastly, if you like what I'm doing here and you want to help support the channel directly, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description down below. Contributions that you make through Buy Me a Coffee get put towards making more and better content for you to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.